having our sync up on Tuesday. So let's go to Tuesday's business then. Um. Okay. So should we check our OKR or we just leave it to last? Yes, sir.
I have actually a motion. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's not too late to plan early. So, Buddy and I talked about this yesterday about who should be on, let's say, the post-crisis team. The way I see it is essentially like this. I think a certain portion of people will be on part-time work if they want to be on part-time work, and people who want to do, let's say, research and development for Bukit Vista in the post-crisis period, um, we would need to start thinking about what the OKRs are for that. So, generally, like Deepa, I think, asked for 1 to 2 month advance notice on the setting of a theme. Right now, the setting of a theme is a little bit difficult because it depends on what area we're in. But I don't think it's actually too late to start considering OKRs in terms of like, all right, let's say there's nothing happening anymore. Let's say there's no more guests. Let's say that essentially there's a pause in all activity. So I think the best way to guide people along is okay. What are your research and development OKRs, and what will you want to actually research, and what will you actually want to develop um, on that particular note? So it's just a kind of a heads up. It will give us a direction to, let's say, the next phase, and gives everyone a little bit of direction in their career path here at Bukit Vista. So nothing I think right now, but I think we can be more cautious of it, especially now that we have more remote working, more social distancing. I think it's important to have some sort of self direction. Otherwise, we'll all sort of just meander. But that's all I want to say for OKRs.
Okay. So like you mean like the OKRs are for the people that you mentioned about the list?
Well, I mean OKRs for everybody, Vita.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever like we want to do in, let's say, the research and development phase of Bukit Vista, I think it's a good idea to actually give everybody the chance to plan their OKRs now about that. So it's uh,
Oh.
it's just up to HR, I think, to spread that awareness and get that out there. Um, what is it that we'll be doing? Certain things, I think projects are still going to be very valuable, such as streamlining the hiring process, maybe creating a more, I don't know, like a plan around how many days we're going to spend in each stage. I think developing external relations with universities, with events, with all these like Hackday. Um, this is actually a pretty good time to go out and mix and mingle. Maybe not in person, but let's say petition and go and develop our network so that once everything's better, we'll have a pretty large network of channels to hire from. So
Mm.
that's that's essentially what I mean by a research and development phase. So the more we go out, it's actually a pretty good time because now we're not in such of a scramble. So we can work on OKRs that don't have any direct result. We can have OKRs that, let's say, have more of an investment result. Like we expect this to have a result within 6 to 8 months. So I think it's a new phase of the company where it's not so tied to, let's say, direct, okay, what is the action and what is the direct benefit, but more of what do you plan to invest in today and how will that look 6 to 8 months later. It's the best use of our time during, I think, a hibernation period. We do have quite a lot of time. And the more we work on that, I believe the more advanced we will be compared to a company that's not doing anything or just, I don't know, panicking or something. So we can use this time to our advantage to set really long-term foundations. So, anyways, in terms of how OKRs are going to be, I think as soon as possible we should give everybody the chance to start writing, let's say, their OKRs for what research would be, what kind of development they would like to work on, what type of projects they would like to work on. Um, and if they don't have any project, I guess we'll just put them in part time. And so that I think can be a fair way to also differentiate between who's going to be on part time and who could still be on a full time. Okay, um, let's back to you, Char.
Oh, okay, sir. I'd just like to clarify or to confirm. So it means like everyone needs to like redo the OKR, thinking about a way to help for the project. So and then from the OKRs we see who's are actually looking like having a part-time OKR and full-time OKR.
Yeah, yeah. So if somebody doesn't have an OKR that's project oriented, then they'll probably be on part time because operations will be slowing down. So we'll keep basically, I guess, the enough people to essentially serve whatever guests are coming in. But if somebody's just here and there's nothing to do, I'm not sure what what the point of that is either, right? So some since we're here, we have time, so let's turn that time into some sort of benefit. Either by I was talking to Debo, I was thinking like, yeah, actually, if everything shuts down, it's a really good time to sharpen the saws again. It's a really good time to really think about how to create processes that are more efficient when things get busier, how to plan for everybody. For example, like I was just thinking about, yeah, owner onboarding, finance report. We still roll out all our reports manually. Since we have more time with our community, I think it's a good time to train everybody like to use bigger, so that they can practice social distancing too as well. They don't have to like necessarily meet our host or anything. They'll know when the guests are coming just by looking at the app. I don't know if that's been fully deployed out to the entire owner and on-site staff community. So stuff like that. There's a lot of inefficiencies that can be gapped. Okay. Anyways, yeah. More on that in a bit, but I think it's not too late to start planning early.
Noted, sir. So that being said, should we also check on our OKR or
Uh, have you created Project OKRs yet?
not yet?
Okay. I don't think so at this point. We're at this point we should create like OKRs that are consistent with the current scenario, which is placing people in the right place, activating groups to work on capital conservation, reducing cancellations, things that essentially extend our runway. So I think that's it for now. But in terms of where we might be I'm just announcing it now so that people have more time to plan. If you want to come back maybe next week or this time, what is it, Tuesday? I think time next week with a new set of OKRs for the next month's theme. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea because next month is probably going to be something that's worse than this month in terms of overall business activity. Yeah, I expect next month to be better. I don't think anybody would at this point. Okay, back to you, Char.
So, sir, the OKR, or sorry, the list of people like the part-time and the full-time will be based on the OKRs that they create.
We're already going through Vita already with a list of people that we want on the full time. Contact people privately right now. So these are people that we think have already made contributions and deep commitments to the company. Um, so we definitely want them in full time. But then the other groups of people that we haven't contacted yet, we actually it's not done contacting yet. We need to finish that up. This will be based on OKRs and such. So yes, OKRs need to be done planning for a type of research and development phase for the future for everyone actually. But yeah, we want to create essentially a tight knit group of people who will essentially continue to offer, let's say, some sort of project benefit. We'll use your time well, so to speak. Okay. Okay.
So, sir, I mean, when you're saying that you are contacting them privately, is it going to be all employees you contact whether or not they will be full-time or part-time, or you'll be just contacting
I'll be
one side?
contacting everybody, Vita, because essentially
Okay.
for certain roles, I think they should be aware that their duties will be more part time into the future, and they should prepare for that. For certain roles, we see research capability, and we definitely want them in for doing research. So it just depends on what the current estimation is. Now, we're giving everybody a chance to essentially write up their OKRs for research and development so that if we, let's say, have not estimated correctly, then they still have a chance to be part of that. But also, I think, up to each individual right now to decide whether or not they want to be here long term or not. As you can see, some people have already decided not, and I think that's actually good. In a funny way, this is the only good time that we can actually expect resignations. I believe it's better, let's say, before we go into this crisis, to sort of like people should decide, right? Do they want to do this together, or do they want to do this on their own? So I'll be going out to ask everybody about what their positions are in the next few days. Okay.
Okay, sir. Noted.
All right.
Okay, so now like me and Ara will know also if people are asking what's the next step, let's say.
Yes,
Or
please.
and
Yes. Yeah.
okay. So meaning that Ara and I also will get contacted, right, sir?
Yes, you guys will get contacted too before the end of the week.
Okay, noted. Right then. So we skip the OKR first since we haven't actually created that aligned with the projects that we just discussed. Going for the old business for employee experience and career planning. So how was the update, sir and Ara, for this? I believe you've had the discussion with PD, Lilis, and Mas Bayu.
Oh yeah, we've already done the discussion. What both of them will do is they will write out their own career journeys for this particular. For Vidi will write out his own career journey for data science because he really knows it better than anyone. He's the first person in the group. So and then Lilith will work in conjunction with Vidi as well. We already have essentially a career pathway for a data analyst, and Lilith will write her comments onto the data analyst career progression too as well. So this one is already done, and I just need Vidi to actually finish his contract, and then that I think is then squared away. Okay.
And who is in charge for that? Is it you or is it Ara, sir?
I'll be in charge of that, I think, at the moment because that one's. Or Ara, do you want to take point on that one?
I'm in the track of actually waiting for them to fill out the
Okay,
the paper.
let me delegate that to Ara then. I've got other sort of things to kind of consider at the moment. So yeah, let's. I'll delegate that to Ara for the progression on Lilith, and Vidi.
Okay. So when are you expecting the PD to finish up the contract and also Lilis to refill the current?
Good question. Ara, can we get this done by this week? It would be in their favor, I think, to get this done as soon as possible.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on for the next discussion from Ara regarding HR pain point March 2020. I believe we've discussed this last week.
Yeah.
So to remind out the pain point about onboarding, especially on on-site trials.
Yes.
So we've discussed this last week. Miss Secretary, please delete that from the old business, and maybe you can put the paper HR pain point to our library or good case practices.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to promotion reviews. To Jing.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we have, let's say, a direction where the company is going to go in the next 6 to 12 months, I think we can conduct promotion reviews as such too as well. So promotion reviews essentially get you closer towards, I guess, the research and development team towards the end, and I think those should continue. As far as compensation goes, we're going to need to actually see what happens in the future to be able to determine what type of promotions deserve what type of compensation. It's going to take, I think, some time to come up with that. So, like I said, the promotions based on past values have been promotions based on growing the revenue. Since the most important component of revenue is yes, and that won't be here anymore. I think we need to recalibrate what let's say compensation should be on. It could be based on impact of project or project progression, but at the current moment, I would encourage everybody let's say if they want to remain at Bukit Vista to continue seeking a promotion. I think the more promoted you are, you'll retain a full-time position here. Okay, so as far as everybody's promotion goes, I would encourage everybody to continue with the promotion. As far as compensation goes for the new promotion, we'll need to take a look at that because uh, one of the things that will happen, let's say in scenario B, is that leaders will take a pay cut too as well. So they, I think, have to know that for compensation wise, that part is not really certain where that might actually go. But in terms of having a job here, that gets more certain with more promotions. Okay, so job security gets better with more promotions.
Okay.
All
So
right.
should Chandra also be in the list?
Who? Chandra?
Mm,
Chandra Dewi.
yeah.
What is she going for on her next promotion?
It's going to be lead first.
Oh, okay. All right. That would be interesting. Sure. Go ahead. I mean, like we still need a aspiration structure, right? So it's not like okay, everyone just gives up this moment. I think promotions are still very valuable in terms of understanding where priorities are and where we need to go. Back to the chair.
Mm. Yes, Ara.
What are the concerns to actually put Chandra on promotion? I don't think she wants to have more promotion.
That's
I mean,
or
when was her last promotion review? It was already like August, no?
Chandra is already promoted to senior, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
isn't it supposed to be like similar time with Diba and Rizky as they also already passed the 1 year?
but I thought promotion too depends on the request of the candidate, right?
it's also up to HR to remind people. I don't mind this actually. I think whatever happens, everybody should actually go and proceed along a regular promotion schedule. Leadership, I think, during a time like this is actually pretty essential. Ara, we don't want people to like not be, let's say, incentivized to lead well. So in that particular dimension, promotions are still a good recognition from the company of good work that's been done, and we can always, let's say, discuss like some sort of compensation after the promotion has happened. But I think we should encourage people to lead more. Leadership. Oh, okay. All right. There's Vita. Leadership in this dimension. Let's say Chandra getting like a lead promotion. I think is a really good thing. It means taking a deeper interest and a deeper commitment into steering the company in a direction that it needs to go in, reducing panic, improving alignment, things like that. So, by all means, I think encourage promotion. If nothing else, then for the recognition that hey, look, we recognize that you are kind of at a different level now.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So, my secretary, can you put on maybe could go under chapter promotions then for, and also you if you can scrap Rizky's name.
Bless you, Vita.
Ini siapa yang mau handle Chandra?
It's supposed to be you, no, for squad 2.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, bless you, Vita.
Thank you, sir.
Vita, did you get any warning signs from Risky that he was about to resign?
Not really like a warning, but he did like when he fell sick the last time. I asked him, right, like, so what's the doctor said, and then he said stress.
Let's see.
Nah, ini apa we're talking about?
Any warning signs from Risky that he was about to resign?
Morning what?
Warning sign from
Oh.
Rizky.
Okay. And what was the stress about? Apa nggak paham?
Oh no, I was just asking, right? Like he was sick for a few days, so I texted him like, "Did you go to the doctor?" And he said yes. And then I was like, "What did the doctor say?" and said, um, just apa namanya, sick because stress. And then I was like, what do you mean by stress? Like, what are you stressing about? So work and everything.
Yeah, I think it could probably be a good idea. We need to get the community more used to not depending on risky and reading their finance reports, um, so that he doesn't get called all the time for tracing payments. Okay, that is that. Let's go to wait. Actually, this is a good time to ask this question. Vita, is anybody else thinking of resigning at the moment?
I'm
Um,
actually not sure if I mean it's just on my side, right? Like I would think, like for example, thinking back, like for our apa tuh namanya, turnover rate discussion back then. I remember like Alvin was saying like um he will stay as long as the people in the squad one still stay, but now that Risky is resigning, so I don't know if it's actually still the case, but he, if it's the case, then he might be like thinking of that as well.
Okay, all right.
So
So
maybe that can be.
Alvin potential. Okay, anybody else?
That's just
Okay. All right. So let's be realistic here. I think no matter what, there's going to be some people who want to resign. Uh, and I'm actually, this is funny, but this is actually probably the best time to resign, in terms of if anybody wants to make that decision. It reduces any potential risk, and it also, I think it strengthens the core of whoever wants to remain too as well. Part of my idea in the next few days is to really determine who really wants to be here and who doesn't want to be here, and uh, and determine that as soon as possible, so that we can go on, let's say, with the stronger central core. Um, but I don't know. What do you think the general sentiment is, Vita? Do you think people want to stay because they're worried about their jobs, or do people like want to look for a place that has better opportunity, or what do you think it is?
um. So some are actually, some that I'm talking with, some are actually saying that this is actually not really a good time like to leave a job because a lot of companies are also doing recession and everything. But some also thinking like maybe seeing it more into like, yeah, even if the company doesn't want to keep me, why should I stay?
Mm, okay. All right. So yeah, I guess yeah, it's a different time now than anything else. But I think I made it pretty clear. It's just really up to each person to decide if they really want to be here or not. Um, it's just back to that pledge. If you want to see this thing through and you want the company to be seen through, then by all means we'll help you stay. But if it's more like, nah, this is kind of like almost like a new contract, I think, for everybody in terms of commitment. Here's the scenario I see, Vita. If we're going to go through this, we should go through this with people who want to be here. If not, then there's really no point, because essentially then it weakens the amount of, let's say, we're going to be facing a lot of tough shit together. Um, and if people are like, "Yo, this isn't for me. I'm not ready to like take like a big cut on my salary. I'm not ready to live on like this way," then I think it's better that we be as upfront as possible and get those people to consider as quickly as possible. So it's meant to be a little bit scary, so that it's almost like it's exactly what we do before we hire somebody, Vita, right? We tell them all the bad news first, so then they can kind of process that before they actually decide to join the company. I think it's exactly the same thing right now. We're just going to tell everybody the bad news up front, so that they can make a decision for themselves as early as possible. Because what would suck is, let's say we go through with this, and then people just decide to quit like towards the end, right? A year later, and then it would be, let's say, it would be just senseless, right? We've helped you survive for a year, but now you've just kind of just abandoned the company. So this is a point of, I guess, a new journey And I just want to make sure to everyone that they want to really be part of this new journey and select, or it's up to each person, I think, to decide whether or not this is the right thing for them. Okay. That being said, that's still my position. If anybody wants to hang out and be here through a rough ride, then by all means come. If not, then feel free to do what you need to do. Okay. And Vita, I think that sentiment needs to also go out to everybody. If you want to be part of this, then by all means, we as a company, we've already pledged that. But
Yeah.
if not, then find what it is. And a lot of that, I think, will come down to how you determine your OKRs. Do you really Are you really thinking exhaustively about what it is to do in this new situation, or not? Okay, all right. Let's let's continue then. Back to the chair.
Okay, so that's it for the promotion reviews. So now we decided that it's actually a good time for people who are who wants to apply for senior roles, long as they know that the consequences within these situations. So moving on to the next one is about the HR Tech Festival. Last week we checked that it's still if it's still on. So last week we checked it was still on. So how is it, sir?
Let me see. I'm laughing because my friend from Singapore told me that Singapore's on lockdown now. They're not letting anybody in or out of Singapore. So all Singaporeans need to move back to Singapore by midnight yesterday. Otherwise, they can't get back into the country. So I'm not sure how this is going to go down now.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if we will even have access to Singapore. So I'm opening this up to check to see if this is still happening. And they're lowering the prices by 55%. That's funny. They're doing the same thing we're doing.
Apa you're cracking? They're what?
They're lowering the price
Lowering
by 55%.
discounted
Discount
55%. Well, but yeah, France also doing a lockdown.
the country?
Yeah, France.
France. Yeah. Everyone
I
is
think
locked down.
yeah. Anyway, so I don't think actually it's also safe, sir, for us. I mean, but it's going to be in May, right? Like if they are doing lockdown now, it will be done by let's say April.
It's probably to be safer. I'm thinking it's probably safer in Singapore than it is anywhere else in the world now. I mean, Singapore had I think Singapore's already gone over the peak of the outbreak, and they had 0 deaths. Nobody died in Singapore. 0. Um, wow, I was really impressed with that.
So then Nangli cannot go back then.
Yeah, yeah. Wait. There's some new announcement here. Let's see what they say. Uh, local government agency. Okay, so new announcements will be given in due course. Okay. Okay. All right. We have an update on that one.
Hmm.
Okay.
So we skip this first.
Yeah. Let's skip this. I don't think we plan on attending for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Okay. So Ara, you were saying something? Okay. Moving on to the main paper. I think that's all for the old.
Ini di delete nggak?
We can
skip aja?
we can just keep it there first.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's the other old business from University Relations. The visit on February 20th. So this already been done. Can be deleted. And then for Nusa Dua, already did yesterday, met Ibu Utari as I updated on the group. So basically, right now the school is actually off for 2 weeks. And then she also said that the situation is remain the same, like things doesn't get worse. Every socialization and everything can start to be done to be conducted in April. However, since the schedule is not yet sure, so I couldn't actually the calendar yesterday when we met, so I'm gonna follow up again with her by April. I mean in April. So to look for this because she was actually really open for everyone, or I mean for us to do like the socialization there. So it's just because of the timing and everything. And she also told me that it's going to be the batch for July to December. So that's the update for STP Nusa Dua. And then for the next one to Ara, join. Yes, sir.
Mrs. Chair, is the school off? Oh, wait, I just help remind me here. I think you already wrote about it. But is the school off due to coronavirus or is the school off due to holiday?
Yes, due to coronavirus.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was really empty yesterday when I went there.
But the faculty are still going.
No, the just like the dean and like at the rectorate, like the.
Okay.
Yeah, I also asked Ibu Tarik what is she doing now then that the school is off, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm taking care of some students who are actually doing training right now, and also like training programs."
Okay.
Okay. So the next business from Ara.
Ini tuh, so last time I asked about the interpretation, interpretation apa sih? Apa konterpretasi? Like the benefits that we get from actually joining, they haven't get back to me until now. So yeah, literally waiting for them like tell me what the benefit for Bukit Vista exactly if we join this occasion.
Okay. And it's 18th of April, like a month from now, right? Okay. Moving on to STPBI. So from Ara.
Udah sih, so this is like going to be like on the 3rd of April. But I might need to actually contact again since like it might get close juga kan due to coronavirus. But we already actually set for 3rd of April so far. That's the status quo right now.
Okay. Sir, any plan yet regarding this socialization or?
Go. I mean, this is exactly what HR should focus on right now. Just any type of networking within safety parameters, I'd say, right? Any type of networking, any type of reach out, any type of PR opportunity, I think it's a good time right now. Let's say we go into R&D phase, then I think we'll think of something for the interns to do. It could be shit. Maybe we could actually like invent like new ways of doing the hospitality routine, new sort of practices. But I think any outreach, any PR right now is actually perfect. There's probably not a lot of people who are going to be reaching out to universities at this point, so we'll get a disproportionate amount of the attention. And yeah, so this is a good HR focus for the next whatever, as long as we're in business. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the new business. To Ara, next post in Job Street job ads.
I think it's discussed.
You can go.
Delete aja ya.
Okay. We also discussed this last week as well, right? Okay, so this can be deleted, and then from here, is it the same that we discussed before?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm going to have a discussion. It'll probably be just me and Bayu will go to everybody and we'll ask like about what their career plans here are, and from that we will determine what the what happens next. Oh, wait, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Mr. Secretary, let's put a deadline on that. I want to get done by, let's say, March 20th, before the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay, to Ara.
20th of March. Okay, so my old business is basically just like info to all of you guys that it's official by the Mr. President declared on apa socializing, remote working, and everything else. Because like the interns passed me on this one, and then they've asked like, oh, so it's actually official to everyone to work from home specifically for the civil servant also like they're all serving the country from home. Ito aja sih.
He's not issuing a lockdown, but he's encouraging
Yeah, it's
people
not.
to work from home. Okay. Okay.
It's also because I read some news yesterday. I mean, people are actually like, how do I say, like, I mean, this is out of like our HR discussion, but like following up this info, why the president hasn't actually instruct like the lockdown is because we are not yet ready, like as the people, as the government itself for lockdown. Because lockdown meaning like you're shutting off everything and like, are we actually like, let's say from the people, are we actually willing to share what is actually at the market, like not like taking it all just for our family, but also sharing it so that other people can also have stocks. So these are the things that are being the consideration.
Yeah. Nippy every day for 2 weeks. That would be
Yeah,
like the lockdown would be.
it would be really good if we are actually living in Karangasem, so like we just eat avocado every day.
Apa avocado?
Or
Eating
like,
avocado every day.
combined with Lilith right now, eating oranges every day. Yeah,
Yeah,
place to be, right? Boost your immunity and such. So
true.
okay, yeah, it's a bit of a. I okay. This is what I understand, ladies. So every country has a decision to make. I think they can either gamble that they'll lose 2% of their population, which is enormous for any country, or they can kind of take the hit and stop the spread with like 2 weeks of quarantine for everybody. So if you look at Italy, they went from just having a few hundred cases to having a few thousand deaths in like less than a week. It was really shocking how quickly that is. And you got to remember this is the stuff that gets reported. So there's probably a lot of stuff even in Italy that isn't reported. So when it gets out, I guess it gets out in force. And this is probably why they're issuing lockdowns. Now, that 2% is probably not going to be people like us. I do think about, let's say, during Lebaran. Hey, actually, good question. Are you guys planning to go home during Lebaran?
I don't know. I actually don't want to go home, but I think my dad will invite me home
I don't
or
think we
ask
should
me.
go home either. I mean, like, there's older people at home, right?
True.
Yeah. What about you, Ara?
Yes.
Okay. Generally speaking, it's probably not a good idea to go back to your hometown where there's less medical, let's say, facilities and there's older people, and it would increase the. I'm thinking like even if it spreads right now, it's probably pretty much in the cities. When it goes out into the countryside, that will be less good for a lot of people.
But I mean like if we stay at home, that's okay, right? So, you
Stay.
mean like the traveling, the trip or the
No, I mean like
getting
let's say right now you're carrying the flu. You just don't know you have the flu or you have mild symptoms of the flu. So then by bringing it back to like your grandparents or something, um, they're like you eat together, you shoot, you do whatever, you sneeze, you sleep in their beds, whatever happens, it might transmit to them, and any older person probably wouldn't be able to deal with it as well. Younger people might not even show any symptoms. You might be just like a stuffy nose, like both of you. I mean, in all seriousness, we might have coronavirus already. Just don't even know it, right? It's just like, yeah, I got
Yeah.
a flu, got a cough, and that's pretty much it. But it's really it depends on the person who gets it. The older person who gets it probably will not be. It probably will be more complex than a younger person who gets it. So yeah, eyeballs open on that one. But okay, that'd be good to know what Lebanon plans are. Back to the chair.
Yes, Ara. I can hear your voice, Ara.
All right, we can
Hi, can you hear me now?
Now,
Yes.
Okay. So, for example, like if I didn't take my off, I can actually move it to another time, right, sir?
I think so.
For
Yeah.
the okay.
Well, we're heading into part-time world, so you might get as many day offs as you want. No, I'm kidding. All right, but yeah, I think in the next, let's say we do go into a hibernation mode, I think you can. It might be if you. Oh, ladies, if you're not used to saving, I would recommend you save, or very deep pockets, and you have like parents, then maybe it doesn't matter. But just as a little bit of advice from somebody who's been through 2 recessions, I would definitely encourage you to save because money will be more valuable in the next year, and you can be almost certain of that. So I would, yeah, don't bankrupt yourself. You might then, yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I went through a recession. I had to go and take really shit jobs during the recession because I just need the money, right? It might hobble your career path. You want to be in a position where you can always select what kind of job you want to do, rather than just have to settle for whatever's out there. Because otherwise, it's yeah. And I don't think this is going to, as just a piece of advice, if you guys want to hear it, I think every industry is going to feel this. I mean, everything. Mark's brother, he works in a sausage factory. He's affected by this now because all the orders of sausage are being canceled. Their main buyers are hotels, and the hotels are not expecting very much breakfastage, so they're canceling all their sausage. I mean, this seems like something that's pretty random, right? Even that's being it's a basic food product, right? And it's already being affected. So this is going to kind of go and affect everyone faster and faster. So if you do have cash, save cash.
Okay.
Which actually brings me to the question of your parents. How worried are your parents about this? Let's go to Vita.
Oh, my dad is always sending me info about Corona every day, every morning. Yeah.
What is he sending information about?
Website from CNN about like which like basically like which sources that are reliable, or like press release from the Cominfo about like hoaxes about coronavirus. I mean, all these things. I
Good.
mean, it's not really like panicking. He's just like sharing this infos, and by saying like be careful there and forget to take vitamin C, vitamin E, and everything.
Okay. All right. Cool. And your mom?
Oh, my mom. But she doesn't. She's just like as if it's just usual. Like the other day, I called her in the morning. And she was like, "Why do you call me early in the morning?" Like I was like, "Nothing. I just want to call you."
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
right now, Vita, this is important. Keep your eyes on the correct sources of news. Generally, John Hopkins, I think, and also the ECDC, the European Center of Disease Control, are pretty reliable. They're sending out facts. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of this panic buying, I realized, is not because everybody's panicking. There's some people who are just taking advantage of the situation. They're buying up all the hand sanitizer and then reselling it on like eBay, or I don't know, if you go on Tokopedia, you'll probably see hand sanitizer for like a 3x markup. So there's some of that happening right now, based on drumming up more panic. But I think if you want to know what the real situation is, then just take a look at that heat map of where it's going, and I think that will give us a pretty good guideline. And then just, I guess, extrapolate what this means to the economy. And you can probably do that in your head when you see like, oh, okay, F1 just got closed. Oh, okay, all right. Like now in New York, you can't go out to a restaurant, bar, or anything. Like essentially all the food and beverage outlets are closed. Imagine that. That's like
I heard in Denver also like all clubs and bars are closed for 3 weeks.
all what is
All clubs and bars in Denver is closed for 3 weeks.
yeah. You can imagine. Yeah. Oh, Iggy's in Denver, right?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. Oh, hard time to be in America. Yeah, but
everywhere. Basically.
if you can imagine that, I mean, like what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to, like, in America, you earn most of your income from tips. So it's like, fuck, right? Now your income source just got cut off, like right away, just like that. So, so yeah, I think now is a good time just to practice some personal fine. Oh, wait, Ara, what about your side? What do your parents say?
My mom is always concerned on my own health, so more on like drink, yeah, the same like drink vitamin C and whatever. Dad is more on what's up in the world, so like yeah, telling me about like updates, what's up in Amsterdam, what's up in apa, yeah, world lah basically. So yeah, that's and my dad is asking about how we're doing also.
I guess we're doing okay considering the circumstances. I mean, the booking pace went up yesterday at least, so it seems like we're still able to teeter along in sort of a situation A. All right. As quickly as possible, I think for HR, we need to get the message out of what this could mean for everybody's job and career and such, right? So that they have a bit more certainty where the company is headed and all this. And I think for the most part, hey, Alvin, we're practicing good responsible health. Hey, Vita, the hasn't been swiped yet.
Yeah, I'll be there after this right away.
Okay, all right.
But I did yesterday before I left.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's just make sure that we're keeping ourselves as safe as possible until this goes away. Um, I don't know if you can get yourself tested. Does anybody know if there's testing facilities in Jogja or Bali?
In Jogja, there is, I think.
There is. Do you want to go
What
to a testing facilities to test if you have coronavirus?
Oh,
I think there is in here.
yeah, there is. There. In Bali, we have Sanglah, and there are two hospital that has that.
Should we just make a day, Vita, to have everyone tested so that we know instead of just like,
I
But
think
I
so.
think it's expensive.
okay, right.
I think it's there. I heard that it's expensive.
Whatever it costs, it's probably better to know than to not know, right? It's
Yeah.
if we know, we control. If we don't know, then we just let's say we know, right? We know that we can, let's say, stop the spread within the company. If anybody does it, then definitely stay at home, right? If we don't know, then we kind of go about as normal, and we just don't know, and we get ourselves all infected, and that could have worse consequences. Uh, that's actually something we have control over. We can test ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I'll come in about that.
Yeah, Pizza, maybe I can delegate this to you. Can you figure out what the cost is, and if there's a way that we can arrange for everybody to get tested? Let's go test everybody, right? And see where
Okay.
we are. All right, maybe the same in Jogja, right? Let's find out what the cost is and figure if we can get tested. If we do get tested, then it becomes more simple, right? It's just how to
Yeah.
prevent coronavirus from getting onto us rather than spreading within the company. Okay?
Sir,
Yes.
I just remember also about the quarterly review meeting. So
Oh no, I think that's good. I think it's let's conduct business as usual. Um, I think we have more time for all kinds of projects and stuff too now. I think more than anything, it's a good time to come together. At least in sort of a spiritual way, maybe not a physical way. To share that. No, please roll that out. I think that's a good idea.
okay,
Okay.
okay, sir.
I
All right then.
okay.
We've discussed pretty much everything on the old and the new businesses for today's discussion. Is there any other thing that you we- if not, then Miss Secretary, please change the date for Thursday.